Hey, parents, and welcome to the Student Success School YouTube channel. I'm Portia Williams, also known as a student success coach. I'm also an author of this amazing book called Take Charge. This is my pre copy, right? But it's up on Amazon. Author, coach, helping and serving grades K through 5 parents and teaching them how to help their child achieve academic success. Take charge. If you want to get a copy, right, of this amazing book, you can do so by clicking the link in my bio, and I should be able to serve you there. Good afternoon. So it's been a month since the last time that I've been able to serve parents. Um, I had surgery, and so I am recovering from surgery, but I miss serving parents and I love serving parents and I'm rejuvenated and it's May. It's also my birthday month. And so May is always super important to me because it's also um, the month that I began coaching. And so in 2017, May 2017, um, that's when I started coaching. And so it's 9 years for me, 9 years. And I get so excited and overwhelmed just thinking about it. And so this is the ninth year. May makes year 9. And so it's like my business anniversary, my brand anniversary. It's my anniversary. All right. And so I'm super excited. May always brings me joy. May is always good for me. Now I'm sitting outside and my allergies are going. But I'm excited to be here with you. Super, super duper excited, okay, about today's class. I'm not going to hold you long, but it's definitely going to be really, really, really good, okay? And if you haven't, subscribe to this YouTube channel, right? This channel is for parents, raise K through 5 parents who want help, want support, like confidently speaking up on your child's behalf and helping your child achieve academic success. Like that's what this channel is all about, right? We talk about all different problems, right? From low grades, right, to really how to help your child when you don't know, homework, right, being stressful, when you feel like your child's teacher isn't doing enough, literally, what to say in school meetings, being frustrated, and more. Plus, what we're going to talk about today. When you feel like you're guessing and don't really know, right? What's wrong with your child. We're going to talk about that today. And I'm excited about it. Super duper excited. So, welcome. Subscribe if you have not. You want to share this with any and all grades K through 5 parents that you know. You want to share this with any and every grade K through 5 parent that you know, especially if their child is struggling academically. If they have anything less than a B, you want them to have this information. And even if they are doing well, this is still some great tools that you can have in your archive as a parent. But I digress. Let's get into today's class. All right. So the focus today, one of the problems that I know that many parents who have a child, right, that's really like an elementary school, right? Often the parent feels like they're guessing, right? They feel like they're guessing to try to figure out how to help their child, right? They feel like they're guessing to figure out what's really wrong with their child, right? Really guessing to figure out um, what's going on with the challenge, like what the real challenge is, right? Really, they're having problems and they're guessing how to identify what the real challenge is. And so today's topic, if you haven't seen, is stop guessing. Stop guessing. I want you to stop guessing. Stop guessing. Okay. Here's the thing, I don't want you to guess because your role and your responsibility as a parent isn't to guess and isn't to know everything and have all the answers. Like, that's not your job as a parent to have all of the answers and to figure it out, right? You're not supposed to know everything. That's what you have your child's teachers for, your child's staff for, right? Those service providers in and around your child's school community. That's what those professionals are there for. So it's not your job, right, to figure it out. Your job is to make sure that they get there and then make sure that they do what they're supposed to do to get back there, right? That's your job, right? If you're struggling with things like that, we talk about routines. we could talk about that. Just let me know, put in the comments. I could do a masterclass on routines, right? And I normally do that earlier in the school year, so maybe like latter in the year, fallish, summer, fallish, right? But we could talk about that if needed, right? Or my encouragement is to go ahead and just sign up for a session with me and we could talk, right? I could really help you figure out what the problem is in routine. But outside of getting your child there, right? It's not your responsibility to really help them make it's not your responsibility. Hey, it's not your responsibility to make sure that you have all of the answers, right? That you um get everything right. You cross every T, dot every I. That's not your responsibility. It's really, really not. And it's not your responsibility to figure it out alone. I'm like, what is that noise? It's not your responsibility to figure it out alone. And that's something that I want you to know as well. It's not your responsibility to figure it out alone. And that's where I come in. Okay. That's where I come in. And so I want to share this with you. If you feel like you're guessing to help figure out what's going on with your child, I want you to get a pen. I want you to get a pad. I need you to write this down. This is what I want you to do. I want you to make sure that you're understanding your child's learning challenge. Okay. I need you to do that. I need you to put your energy into that, not figuring it out, not guessing. I just want you to identify what the challenge is, not what the solution is, just what the challenge is. I want you to put your energy on understanding what the challenge is. And what I mean by that is not like a diagnosis. I just need you to know something, right? Maybe you're noticing comprehension they're not comprehending. Maybe you see them right, you see them struggling in reading. Maybe math problems are taking too long with homework. I just need you to identify something. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be exaggerant. But I need you to figure out something. One challenge, right? Understand what their challenge is. Here's why that's important. Understanding, right? And identifying really what that challenge is going to help you get the proper support that you need for your child. So you're not supposed to figure it all out. That's really not your job to figure it all out. Your job is to just identify something. I'm gonna break it down a little bit more for you, right? Identify what your child's learning challenge is, right? You want to identify the challenges so that you can get the support that your child needs. But what does that look like when I say identify what your child's challenge is? I'm going to go a little deeper so I can help you. Being accurate about what you see. So that's point number one. In order to understand the learning challenge, I just want you to be accurate about what you see. You're not trying to figure it all out, parents. You're not trying to figure it all out. You're not trying to figure it all out, okay? You're not trying to figure it all out, okay? You're not trying to figure it all out. You are just trying to identify what you see as the challenges. And I think so many parents, they miss that. They miss that part. They miss that part. They miss that. They try to get it all. And that's not what I want you to do. And I don't think you're going to find as much progress as hold on one second. I need to let my comms person know something. Um, comm support. Comm support. She's not listening. Because I want her to hear this class so she can get do some work for me. But being accurate about what the learning challenge is key. Finding something, okay? Finding something that you feel like is a challenge. You just need one thing that's going to lead you to the next thing that's going to probably get you the results that you need, right? It's not supposed to be that hard, okay? So that's the first thing. Asking your school staff, right, for tools for home and school. That's how you identify the challenge, right? You need to ask. Ask your school staff for that, right? Ask for that support. Okay? What you see, what you've noticed, you need to be asking them how to get that help. Right? Then I really want you to focus on, if needed, any outside resources. Sometimes we don't look or come in contact with resources that really can help us because we aren't putting ourselves in those proximities. You have resources like me, right? You have other resources, right? Maybe specialists that you can see that can also help you get more clarity and understand what your child's learning style, or excuse me, learning challenge is. And then lastly, communicating with your child about it. And I don't think enough parents do that. They find out their child has a learning challenge, or they think that their child has a learning challenge, and they never have a conversation with their child about it. Let's use comprehension, for example. Let's say your child's struggling with comprehension, right? You think that that's their problem. They're struggling with reading. Comprehension might be the issue. You probably had a conversation with the teacher about it, right? Probably bought like tools, learning tools, or hooked on phonics, or you put so many apps on the tablet, but you've never talked to them. And I think this is super key. I think this is like the icing on the cake if you really want to identify your child's learning challenge and you want to understand it. Because remember, I'm sharing with you, I want you to understand what the challenge is. I didn't say solve it. I want you to just understand what the challenge is. And if you can have understanding, you'll have much peace about how to support your child. Communicating with your child about the learning challenge is key because what you might find, right, is that your child, what you think might be is the problem, may not be the problem. I'm gonna go into this. I'm gonna read an excerpt from my book. It's on page 24 of my Take Charge book. Yes, this is a plug. Take Charge: How to really help raise K through 5 parents achieve academic success. How K through 5 parents can help their child achieve academic success. Okay. Page 24, I'm gonna read an excerpt, right? It's my story. But I read it last night and I was like, I want to make sure that I read it to parents because it was so powerful. Remember, we're talking about really communicating, and then I'm almost done because I've been up here. Oh, I'm doing good. As long as I'm under 15. Um, I really want to make sure that I share this. I'm gonna just read it. Page 24. Of course, this is the chapter on understanding learning challenges. I'm grateful my parents eventually found out the truth about my learning challenge, right? Back in the first grade, I was struggling academically. My parents thought maybe I couldn't see the board, so they got me an eye exam to see if I needed glasses, right? Then I was tested to see if I had a learning disability. I didn't have one. So the teacher tried moving my seat. Every time she moved me, right, I would still talk to everybody sitting next to me. So that didn't help. Still talk too much, right? Looking back, what I realized was my parents didn't know the biggest challenge, right, that I was having academically, right? So it goes back to my point. One, they thought they knew what my challenge was. They thought they knew it, right? They thought they identified it, but no one never had a conversation with me. What I come to find out later on, it was personal. At home, my parents were going through a abusive marriage, right? I don't think they realized that that environment was affecting my mind in the way that I learned. So it wasn't necessarily that I wasn't comprehending. I wasn't comprehending, right? Because there were other things going on that had my mind, that had my focus. My parents were in an abusive marriage. And so that's why I think it matters, right? So much to get the truth and understanding, but then communicate with your child. Because what I'm learning is that often when you communicate with a child, you can find out what may be going on with them. So maybe if my parents would say, Portia, like what bothers you? If I had a trusted and open relationship with my parents, I could have probably said it bothers me that you all fight like cats and dogs. It hurts me. I have to hide, right? I have to hide in a room. I go and I protect my sister. I make her get in the bed with me so that I could sleep at night. So I could feel like I'm protecting her, but really she's bringing me comfort, right? There are things that could really affect your child academically that has really nothing to do with the lack that they have thereof. It really could be parents' own personal lives that could be trickling down on their child and affecting them academically. Right. So the root cause may not be them necessarily. It could be something that a parent is contributing. And so that's why I really, really want to make sure that you all have the understanding of what your child's learning challenge is. Once you have the learning challenge, once you have that identified, you can kind of backtrack yourself, right? to see, right? Are you being accurate? Do you really know what the challenge is now that you have understanding, right? In order to get understanding, you want to be accurate. You want to ask for other opinions, right? Other resources. You want to utilize outside resources if needed. And I think most importantly, communicating with your child about their learning challenge. And so I ended with this, and I pray that it relates. If you don't identify your child's learning challenge, right, you may misidentify what's really going on with your child and miss out on the right resources, or never have the conversation your child needs most that can actually free them and help them learn and progress, right? And it makes me think maybe if my parents and I would have had a conversation, right, and they would have known that this is absolutely affecting her, they could have held themselves more accountable when they get into arguments, and how maybe they wouldn't get into certain arguments around me. Okay. So yeah, so I end with that, right? Having those conversations with your child, because you just never know, right? Something might come up. Maybe something might come up that will trigger your child to say something, and then it will trigger you to see maybe that's the problem, right? Maybe that's the problem. Or maybe help you face the reality of anything that you could be doing that can be contributing to their problem, right? So I digress. I just wanted to read that excerpt um, from a book so that you all can have like a better idea of what's going on. So that's it. That's our class for today. Any questions? I'll take any questions. I got time for questions if needed. Just remember, right? If you feel like you're guessing, you don't know, right, what's wrong or what's going on with your child, don't guess, right? What I want you to do is follow this first step, and I want you to identify and excuse me, understand. Just understand what your child's learning challenge is. Like, get that understanding. Don't guess. Start to get understanding. And if you don't have understanding, email me directly at the student success school at gmail.com. I'll try to put it in the chat. Let's see. Email me directly, and we can schedule time to talk. Um, I have sessions available. I have a session available tomorrow. Actually, two. I have two sessions available tomorrow for you if you want to get clarity, right, of what your child's learning challenge is. If you want help identifying that so that you can get support, I will help you and point you into the right direction. Based upon what you shared, we can get on the phone together and work through what will be the right direction for your child academically, because it's important. We're ending the school year, and just because it's the end don't mean this is how you got to go out if your child is failing, right? You want to make sure that and if your child isn't doing well, you want to make sure that you're doing your best, taking charge, right? Take charge. And I'm here to support you. That's what I love to do. I would love to advocate with you and for your baby boy, your baby girl. All right. Love you all so much. Please, please, please. You need the support. Reach out. I'm here. Love you much. Thank you for allowing me to coach you today. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.